All right, welcome to Vibe Osmosis. How you doing today?
I am doing great, man. How you doing, Jeff?
Man, just getting up. I started something very interesting because it's my favorite holiday today. It's
Oh,
actually a
the
brand new
first day of
holiday.
Hanukkah.
It's a brand new holiday that just got added on my
Ooh.
on the Trump calendar. My favorite Trump calendar holiday. It's
Of
Jeffrey
course.
Epstein Awareness Day.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I
Jeffrey
forgot that was today.
Jeffrey Epstein
How
Awareness Day
did you
is
ring it
today.
in?
And that's why I
Yeah,
decided
yeah.
to start a meme coin to kick off Jeffrey Epstein Awareness Day.
What's the coin? What are we talking here?
Spirit
Getting into
Navigator
crypto.
coin. You can go and buy your Spirit
Spirit
Navigator
Navigator
coin.
coin. Folks, that is $ Spirit Navigator. Or do you want to do $ Spirit Navigator? That would look even
It's
better.
all
I
it's
don't
all
know.
dollar sign.
It's all $. Just $ $. Buy Spirit Navigator. Keep it. Just keep buying. Just keep buying. It's going to keep raising. You're not going to. You're. It's going to be hard to sell. You know. Just
it's
hold on to every bit of that.
it's gonna be live on a live stream on it. But go ahead and introduce yourself and what
Hell
you
yeah.
do.
I am John Barras. I was born here, and then I grew up in Miami with artist parents. My father is a Cuban visual artist with a great record collection, and my mother was a Soviet refugee who taught at Juilliard and played a bunch of piano when I was a kid. So I was surrounded by arts, and I became a recording artist. And I started out with guitar, moved on to keyboards and bass, and did a couple of years of sitar and keys and everything else. Started on tape, moved on to Logic, spent a couple of years in Berlin, came back here, and I am now, I guess, a collaborating electronic music artist. Experimental pop, let's say. Something like that. Hypnagogic. And yeah. And I also make soundtrack work with Michael Girard of Swans as my freelance music work, I guess. And I most recently put out a new LP called John Vivray Loves You Forever and toured the release with John Mouse on the East Coast. I guess that's me in short.
With this new music that you recorded, what kind of instruments and stuff did you use?
Oh, I used everything I possibly could. There are so many different sounds on that album. My late bandmate Sarah Goldfarb is on there not only in her last recordings in our band Red Widow, but me and my partner collaboratively, Marcy the Baptist, she and I made a synthesizer that was made out of vocal tones of her old vocal recordings. So there's like a MIDI synthesizer made out of samples of her voice. There's a toy xylophone that we just found in the house that's on Bollard Block. There's a fork being dropped on the floor in a certain song. There's an Apple loop thrown through a couple of LFOs and a frequency modulator, and that was the beginning of Be Undead. Yeah, I just kind of threw everything I possibly could. It's very maximalist in every sense. That's what I wanted it to be.
Well, my first take on hearing it was like, "Is this all in house?" And so like I was just like, "You're like in a studio, home studio, and you're like overdubbing, layering." Or I was like really interested in the process because whenever you hear with headphones, it's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. That was the point. I'm so glad you got that. Yeah, I wanted it to be like this frenetic fucking like this cloud that overwhelms you, this haze,
Yeah,
this osmosis, let's say, that occurs.
yeah.
It's this. Yeah, I meant it to be very cinematic like that, and it was very hard to achieve. That is all bedroom work. I had a lot of co-producing done between me and Keenan LeBlanc of Lovely Beast, and then also me and Marcy the Baptist, and also her friend and peer Harmony's Cuddle Party. They helped out with the production after the fact, but most of that was just like either recorded from practice amps and then messed with, or then some of it was like straight direct in the interface, so I could see how that interacted with the other tracks, and then some of it would be like pedals and preamp into interface for a more conventional like recognizable sound. So like yeah, you basically got it. Yeah, I for lack of a studio, I tried to do every possible thing that I could to make it sound not too bedroomy, to make it sound overwhelming and large. Exactly, you got it. Like on that ending cover of Bela Lugosi's Dead, there's 3 layered voices to give it this big, huge sound. And I made sure to do it in this huge parquet floor room in the South Bronx, where I housed my elderly parents, and it had this amazing reverb. So it sounds like a studio room, but it's just a really big trap housey apartment in the South Bronx. It gets that really big wide sound. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that. Yeah.
So
But yeah, the aim was like mostly. Oh, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, you
I was
got
gonna
the,
say
yeah.
like
The aim was mostly like, yeah.
the goal with making this record. Did you have in mind of having collaborators and stuff?
Oh yeah, no, that's always been a central part of this project. Right now, it's me and my fiance, who is in the room. I hope you don't mind. She's observing me. I can call her over for eye candy, whatever you want. And more than that, really eye candy. It's
Coming into
oh yeah, Margaret. Yeah, come introduce. Current major collaborator in the Variety Hour. She just drove me on tour with John Mouse. She was key and everything. We got engaged on the tour on stage with Mouse. It was amazing.
Very sweet.
It was. Can you hear her?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Comes in great.
Great, fantastic. She was huge on the Mouse tour. She triggers all of my backing tracks and samples from the laptop in this little suitcase. I'm kind of breaking a secret here. There's a theatrical kind of veil I like to have. But yeah, to answer your question, the Variety Hour has always been like, what if I took my solo work and tried as hard as I possibly could to merge it with another mind? Right now, it happens to be my fiance, which is really convenient. In the past, it was, and currently, Marcy the Baptist, really talented. She's amazing. Songs like Gender Neutral Song and Diamond Lion's Teeth completely transformed in her hands. We kind of worked together in this sense of like we had great arguments where we would argue over there's a chord on my big Pitchfork Select song. I got a bunch of plays, another Blow Up All Day. There's an E chord at the very end that's technically dissonant, but I wanted it to achieve this effective uncertainty in the coda. And she fought me. She was like, "You cannot end on that E chord. That's insane." I was like, "No, let's continue. Seriously, we have to do this. This is important to me." And then it became the breakout. So take that, Alexi, you talented motherfucker, who I love dearly. Shout out Marcy the Baptist. We love you. But yeah, the Variety Hour from the beginning is always. Oh yeah, sure.
How did you guys meet each other?
Oh, baby, come back. This is a great question.
That I don't know.
Oh. Who do you mean? Alexi or Margaret?
Yeah, you and your fiance.
Yeah. So we were seeing each other, and she was thinking of moving to Brooklyn, and then I offered her. I mean, do you want to tell us more?
You go ahead.
Well, okay, I'll give you the setup. I offered her a spot that I used to do in Berlin. I've always had a more performance art. Like simultaneously direct, but also like orientation. I like to make a big performance out of a performance. I can make it an exhibition of the music, but also So I had a thing in Berlin where I had a character of the arranger, and it was always a beautiful woman who controlled all of my samples and backing tracks. And I asked her, thinking she would say no, because we were still just seeing each other at the time. She was still living in Pittsburgh. It was a big commitment. I asked her, could you opened for John Rouse for the first time with me in front of 150 people at Union Pool. And can you do all this and learn all these parts in the next 6 weeks and do it in front of other people? And she not only instantly said yes, it was kind of a linchpin in her deciding to move to New York prematurely. She just didn't get on the plane back on the last time before the Mouse show. And she kind of quit the factory job to stay here and join me for one of the most terrifying and also amazing shows of my life, I think, out of hundreds. And also kind of a launch pad into that beautiful film that we couldn't have done if she had not thrown away everything to be part of the variety hour. Thank you very much.
What also inspires you guys to make music together?
I mean, it's just a really fun process. I don't know, like
It's much more of a musician than I am. I have more of an aesthetic eye. I'm far from a musician.
no, you're maybe that's because she doesn't consider it.
I hope maybe rein him in.
Sounds a
She's
little
a-
downplaying it.
Those tendencies.
Just yeah, no, she's amazing at curating me and like holding me back when she asks me. She's very good with that. She's very good from keeping me from being too much. Like we went over the live set for that tour maybe like 100 times, and she corrected every single thing I had choreographed in my mind. Like if I had something too much, if I had a prop in mind that was too much, she'd be like, cut that, cut the prop. She made me kill my darling, so to speak. Thank you very much, dear. That's very helpful. But yeah, she kind of has become the arranger in a literal sense too. Like there's a character sense where John V. Variety has an arranger who puts all the compositions together behind him, and then there's another level where she kind of arranges the sets and arranges like corrects my arrangements. You know, like she'll take a guitar take and pick out the part that should stick, that doesn't like conflict with everything else happening. Yeah, how like you and I will just like layer shit and we'll be like, oh, this is cool. This is all great. Everyone can hear this. And then someone will come in and be like, wait, I can't hear the other thing now.
So, I'm gonna get into. Do you remember what your first instrument was?
Yes, actually. I had spent years alienating myself from my peers in school before I dropped out in 6th grade to take care of my mom. And I had listened to the Velvet Underground at like a very pompous, precocious age. I want to say maybe like 7 or 8. And Sid Barrett and shit like that. And I was really into the Mothers of Invention. And I got very jealous at one point and got a guitar when I was 12. And that's conveniently when I got into no wave, because I could make a lot of noise with a guitar and not know how to play it. But then I started getting a bit self-conscious of that. So I got serious about it when I was 15, and I read these amazing articles by artists I really respect that I'm gifted to know now. Arrington from Old Time Religion and R.L. Pink both used Tascam Portastudio Mark II, and that was a huge pivotal first instrument for me, because that was the first time I was like layering things. I started out making these I was like 16 making like 8-track tape recordings, all of guitar, like in a weird like Glenn Branca, Terry Riley sense. Very, very pompous, but it came out to cool hooks later. Like hooks I'm still taken and revived. It's good to have a bank always.
Yeah. Actually, I just met somebody that was telling me on average he keeps about 150 tracks on the top of his brain, and I was like, so why do you do this? And he was like, I am the painter, the canvas, and the preparation. He was like, you can't just start painting before you don't have like the art and the material. He was like, this is why I keep everything in the bank, so I know what color to grab from. And it just completely opened my mind of like, oh yeah, like that's why whenever you start making a track, you have these selections of like, oh, you can try it in this version, and this version, and this sound. And like, I kind of wonder with you, like whenever you like come up with a sound, are you processing it through different other sounds and trying to see which one is meant for you?
Oh,
Great answer.
actually, yeah. Actually, I have a great answer for this. Yeah, I guess she's gonna need a space for this. She's a space to speak. Yeah, I actually completely agree, and that's a great painting metaphor. So I'm going to take it to a writing metaphor now.
Oh yeah.
I've always been inspired by the poet John Ashbery, an amazing New York poet, just died recently. I mean, not recently, 10 years ago, but still, rest in peace. John Ashbery was amazing, and he had this great system where he would think of a phrase that he found interesting, and he would write it down, cut it out, and put it in a hat for later. And then when he wanted to write a new poem, he would randomly take a phrase from the hat and think about the phrase. And that became like worsening situation in some of these best poems. So from a really early age, like as soon as I had a smartphone, maybe I want to say 2010, I started like a very urgent kind of, I don't even want to say habit, maybe like regiment, where I would tell myself like my day was worthless unless I made something for the song bank, as your friend puts it. Like I had to make, I set really specific rules for myself. I have to do something every day that's at least like 30 seconds long. It's got to be, if it's not a hook and chords, it's got to be at least like bass and drums and lead, and it's got to be vocal ready. You know, it's got to be something I can come back to and try vocals on. But I need something for the bank, so I've been doing this for years. So I have a bank of thousands of loops, and a lot of the stuff on Love You Forever, actually, you completely assessed correctly. A lot of that is from like weird experiments in a word bank. Like The Undead came from me clapping that beat and singing to it, and then I had to figure out the chords afterwards, like on guitar. Like I had to reverse engineer the song from the voice memo. But you know, it's really important to me. Yeah, I think it's amazingly important to have a song bank. I think this is how artists like John Mouse and Ariel Pink just seem to have an endless bank of music. It's because I think they both, and a lot of musicians, I think, Kanye West even, all these people, they all have these pathological tendencies to record endless amounts of clips and demos. And then they pull from them, and then they make magic out of them years later. And it really works. Like the fucking Pitchfork Select I got off that album, that was one of the urgent loops I made. I had the main hook. How do I mean my Dania? That one. I had the main hook like written out in that loop, but that loop is like years old, and then I just decided to pick it up for that song this year, and it just came out like that. But yeah, like I'll often pick from the proverbial John Ashbery hat, and I'll try to have a song blossom out. I'll use it as the seed, you know. I think it's good to have a bank of song seeds.
So here's some ridiculous questions, you know? Some of the classic Vibe Osmosis ones. You know?
I have studied this, and I'm ready. I have studied your ridiculous rounds, and I am set.
So, do you believe in aliens?
I do not believe in. I mean, I think there has to be some other life besides us. That'd be really disappointing, you know, if you have this whole universe and it's just the only species that's like vaguely recognizably verbal and cerebral. Is just us. We're assholes. We're the assholes of the universe. We're all gonna die because we fucked up.
Well, what do you think about
you know, there's got to be some other kind of life.
What do you think about the shadow government? Do you think that's real?
I definitely think the shadow government is absolutely real. I think we're seeing it in the Mangione case. We're seeing little flaws in it. We're seeing that they wanted to kill the CEO, and then oops, we had two dumb cops, and they turned off their body cam, and we have evidence. Oh well, fuck. But you know, Epstein fucking killed himself. To bring up Epstein again. Have a happy Epstein Awareness Day.
It's Jeffrey Epstein Awareness Day.
It's Jeffrey Epstein Awareness Day. I do believe there is a deep state. I think Jeffrey Epstein, to be aware of this man, I think he was a pimp for this government, whatever this is.
So if you had the time machine and you could travel back in time or forwards, which one would you choose?
I would go forwards. I think stuff like me and the bands I like, the bands I feel don't get enough press, like Chuck Roth or Miracle Sweepstakes or Spirit Navigators or Playing Margeris, for instance.
Right
I
on.
feel like we're making music from the future. And I feel like people aren't catching on as part of that. I'd rather be in the future. I want to know what music. I want to be right. I feel like we are right about music. I feel like our idea of pop music is the correct one. I think it's the one that's going to be made in the future. I think the future will be maximalist and glitchy and fucked up and frenetic.
So-
And I
So
think,
if you could be like a toy or a character, which kind of toy or character would you be?
I mean, that man is very he's very tantalizing. He's very your figurine. Naruto, he's got powers. He's a really courageous guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. I don't know. I think I'd be one of those crazy Moslans. Like, do you remember that weird I barely remember this because my parents were in poverty and we couldn't afford any toys. But like, I remember they were really happy to give me an early '90s toy that was like a giant orange man who had like limbs you could stretch that were made of
Totally.
sand. Whatever that guy was, I would want to be him.
Well,
Because
it was so interesting
that
because
is-
it's like part of the body was hard, but
I
you
just lost you. What the fuck? Hang on. Sorry, buddy. I just
Oh.
fucking lost you. It was annoying.
well the
Wait,
audio.
hang on. There we go. I think I got you back. Can you- Oh no. Why did it do that? What's going on?
Well, I see you.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Great. Whatever.
Well, I
How's
was
it
gonna say,
going?
like,
All right, where is
I
that,
remember
brother?
that body was like kind of hard, and like the arms were stretchy, and like the legs are stretchy and
Yeah.
stuff. And it was so weird because
Yeah.
I was like, how is the body keeping it together? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That is
I remain interested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
made
feel
it.
like I would love to be that guy. That guy would have powers in reality.
All right,
That is
you
a
need to
power
be-
that people are not prepared for.
It means to bring it back.
Oh,
So speaking of movies, what's some of your favorite movies?
some of my favorite films. This actually draws into my creative process. Actually, I would say if I want to pump any major filmmaker, it would be Fassbinder. I was exposed to him way too young. I traded in the first Harry Potter for a DVD of In a Year with 13 Moons. And it freaked me out, but I wanted to see more. Thank you. It's part of having psycho parents. It's one of the perks. That book would be worth 100 probably.
Interesting retro films. Like I guess there's a lot of weird family Hallmark kind of stuff out there. Christmas
Yeah.
about that kind of thing. But it is interesting that there's like a whole other B side, and people whenever like you
Yeah.
tell people that you're interested in like B horror and like weird stuff, it kind of like it kind of goes over their head. I feel like that they forget that there's like a whole other genre of films and such.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I feel like that's why John Carpenter couldn't get a film made with the budget that he wanted by the time. That's why Roddy Piper is the star of fucking They Live, because people weren't prepared for a B movie that was an A movie. The Thing should have made like triple its money, and John
but
Carpenter should have
money,
been
it would
made.
have been way more incredible.
Yeah, I mean, also, how many artists can do both? How many directors can make music? We all love David
That's
Lynch,
exactly
but
right.
fucking rest in peace. But fucking, who listens to the clown music? We all fucking love John Carpenter's music, and we love the movies. We love the soundtracks in the movies.
The clown
Rarely do
people
those
stuff is
sync
awesome.
up and by the same guys.
The clown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's just awesome.
Sacred
Arthur-
Bones, shout out. They did that great anthology.
Yeah,
That was
so
incredible.
get into like music wise, like what are some like favorite all time like artists that you grew up listening to?
Yeah, that one, I guess we can say it all started with my mother playing Alice Coltrane a lot in the living room. That was really a beautiful like lure to me as a child. And then I started listening to them when I got way too young. I was like 7 or 8, and my dad had the records and was drunk all the time. So I was free to my devices.
He's like, give me some notes.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad, he liked Isley Brothers and like funky music, and like he was just
Oh
gonna,
shit! So you got to hear like footsteps in the dark.
Yeah, then he was just gonna like, he's like, my son might like Jimi Hendrix. I remember that guy people were into. You know what I mean? And then I was just
That's
like,
a good bet. I was really into Hendrix as a kid. That blew my fucking mind. Yeah.
Right? It's like,
First time I
oh,
heard
oh.
Manic Depression, I was like, holy shit, you can make music like this. That's insane. or
Yeah,
the first foot. But I mean, yeah.
I think my dad was just kind of like, I don't think he's really gonna get it, and then all of a sudden I got it, and he was like, shit, probably.
That's fantastic. Hell yeah. Shout out to your dad. No, yeah, my dad was correct too. He suggested the Velvet Underground, and I was obsessively into them way too young for years and years, still am. And then that developed into, I was fortunate enough to be good at the internet during the music blog era, so I got to be exposed to stuff like the start of the hypnagogic movement. Like, that really struck me. Like, I would say that's the big jump. Before that, it was all about like Sid Barrett, Velvet Underground, John Coltrane, etc. But I think Mouse and Pink, Dean Blunt, Inga Copeland, just encountering that methodology was so important to me. Like, the way that they, it was amazing to just like see artists who, were imagining like a different kind of nostalgia, like for taking the very recognizable form of a synth pop song and making it strange, using it to express strange sentiments, strange ideas, strange strong structures, etc. That was really important to me. That's the first time I looked at musicians and I said, I want to be like those guys. That's why I got the Tascam Porta Studio. I was like, I got to make tape music. I got to dub everything myself. I got to make it dreamy and hazy. I got to imagine a different idea of the past. It was beautiful for me. Those are my big ones. The big hypnagogic artists.
So, bringing up Glam Margera's, me and Ash were talking about how artists, we have moments of where you just like start playing and you're not recording or doing it for any purpose, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like, you wish that was recorded, or you clicked record and thought it was recording and then it didn't record. And we were talking about, like, what about the artists that we love that were just like having raw moments that was probably their best moments that was not recorded, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, what we're seeing kind of is like a mirror. I was like, we're standing a mirror in front of like the best version of what we did, in a way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting idea because everybody practices and has good practice, and then like starts jamming and has good jams, but none of that's like getting recorded. But you really do have your best moments there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and this is why I am a huge proponent, as per my previous answer. Absolutely record everything. Just start recording when you start. If you want, fuck around in Logic and just save every take. Save the first stupid take that you did. Save the most primitive melody. Yeah, exactly, because we can do it now. It's amazing. Yeah, like imagine how much good shit like the hypnagogic tape artists taped over and just couldn't get back. Imagine how many awesome...
They wanted to have their songs in digital. They wanted to have those stems probably in a different format, but also maybe in those tape formats. So it's just like not in the same regard, You'd have to have like tapes that are like, this is just the stem of everything. That's a whole different kind of thing. That'd be a lot of tape. But I have heard about Frank Zappa having a whole basement with the walls of tape where you had to have like a little like a light on top of your head to like go through every single take because he recorded a lot.
Yes, no, I absolutely agree with that. I actually admire that, and I think that's awesome. I think that's way cooler than Frank Zappa firing some band mates for smoking weed. Cheers to that. But that's a cool Frank Zappa fact. I totally am behind that. I think you should record every moment, even when you're in your comfort zone and practicing. Something might come out. That's why I always work with loopers, and that's why I always work, like, even when I was working with tape, I would always make sure to have loops of like everything I had in mind in case I, taped over it.
Gotta bring up that we got the last round of questions coming up. So this one's classic Vibe Osmosis. So if you were stranded on an island and you could only bring one thing with you, what would you bring?
I would bring my muse and my fiance, and she would have a knife, because she always has a knife, and I could survive with a knife. That's what I would bring.
Okay, okay. So here's some classic Vibe Osmosis questions. Okay, you got to bring up a favorite like childhood memory or thing that like you really like can respond to as maybe like your first concert or something.
This is just on the edge because I was almost an adult, but when I was a teenager, and I know this isn't the coolest answer I can give, but it's the most honest answer. The first major concert for me was seeing. There was a series of free shows back when Manhattan had actual good free shows, and Grimes did a free show at the Pier in mid Manhattan. And
Or
I was with these way older, way cooler people. It was all ages, thankfully, but they were all cooler. They were all really intimidating. But then Grimes came out, and I was so inspired because Grimes was pre-touring Visions before it broke,
oh
and
yeah,
she fucking yeah, it was amazing. And she was the first artist I saw live that played her music by triggering sequences and tapes and shit. And then she had people on stage that were not musicians. She had people on stage that were like dancers and performers. And it was really inspiring for me. It was like, oh, you can actually be a solo artist and do shit like this. You can play stuff through sequencers, and you can also have like, you know, non-musical performers on stage. That would be my most precious first concert moment, I think.
well, is there anything that you'd like to shout out or give like an update on what you got coming up?
Oh, absolutely. For shout outs, as many as I can in one sentence, Chuck Roth, Miracle Sweepstakes, Hit, Hallcat, etc. Marcy the Baptist again, Harmony's Cuddle Party, etc. Call Waiton, amazing New York label. Slack Pop Records of Seattle, amazing label. Spirit Navigators. Anyway, John Mouse and Kiki Mouse, thank you for the tour of our lives. Thank you for blessing our proposal. And I would say I want to shout out for my next project. I'm hoping to turn into something larger, but I have a song I've been doing on tour called The Samurai Dipshit French Guy. It's a character piece about a noir character who realizes he's in a French film and tries to escape the film. I have a bigger concept in mind of narrative songs where characters break the fourth wall. So that's the project in mind. I'm also working on, I do too many things at once. I'm also working on a cover of Kate Bush's album, The Dreaming.
Oh
That hell yeah. I was going to cover all of The Dreaming without referring to any of the actual sheet music. So just what I can hear in the songs and reimagine them. Like sit without it for a few weeks and then try to do all the songs and record them. So it'd be my dreaming of The Dreaming. And then I'm also working on a separate project that's more noise rock oriented called Noise Gig in Bushwick tonight. So those are the three major John B. Variety projects.
Well, I appreciate you joining Vibe Osmosis. It's been awesome talking with you.
It has been an honor. Thank you to everyone for this. Thank you to my buddies Ash and shout out Glenn Marcheras. Shout out shout out you for making this happen. It's been a great interview.
Nice talking with you.
Two stone guys in the holidays.